Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today we discuss the 2012 to 2018 Bethune DB27 Titan Hawk version 1. For a lot of folks, this will be the point of entry to the brand. That said, there are two distinct generations of this model, the version 1 and the version 2, and I happen to prefer version 1, which I hold in my hand. I'll get into that in a moment. First, let's talk about the basics. The watch is 43 millimeters in diameter, grade 5 titanium. It's actually pretty thin in profile, and if you measure it, it's 12.5 millimeters, so close to a Rolex sub in that regard. The lugs are variable geometry, so different widths across and spring-loaded. They conform to your wrist. That's a patented feature. They're called floating lugs. At full extension, lug-to-lug is 49.9 millimeters. At full compression, 47.3, with a 26 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. Being that it's mostly made of titanium and sapphire, it's a very light watch. My wrist is 16 centimeters circumference, and I think you could wear this wrist on a wrist slightly smaller than mine. You could wear this watch on a wrist of 15 centimeters circumference. Mine is 16. It's nice and flat. It will actually fit under a cuff. That's not a problem. And then you can see down the barrel that the lugs truly are not out over the edge of my wrist. Over the top always exaggerates the width of a watch, but even then you can see it's inboard of the edges. The strap is a lovely piece. You can see calfskin on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging, very supple, good-looking, bright blue textile on the top with a suede gusset sewn in to avoid gouging. At Bethune, the buckles tend to match the design of the watch, so you can see this buckle nicely matches the design of these lugs. Floating, spring-loaded. You can see the crown is a screw down, not so much to give it exceptional water resistance as to prevent interaction of the crown with the lug. That isn't a problem. You just want to make sure you screw that crown down once you've set the watch. 30 meters with a screw-down crown. We have these little bullet tips on the end of the lugs. Those are the ogival tips, or the torpedo tips. The last styling vestige of the original Bethune watch, the 2002 DB1 chronograph. You will find this on most Bethune models through the years. Now, the case is a monoblock. You can see the case and the bezel are all one piece, so it's seamless when viewed from the top. Everything loads through the case back. On the dial side, we've got a lovely silver on blue printing. We have sectors outboard for the minutes. We have radially arrayed Roman numerals inboard, including a watchmaker's 4. And then inboard of that, there's a little deltoid indicator that serves as the pointer for the date. The version 1 Titan Hawk, which I have in my hand, has a date. The version 2 has a running seconds hand. I prefer the date. There's other things I prefer, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Bethune makes its own dials, cases, and movements, so everything you see here is Bethune, right down to that balance wheel. On the dial side, you can see we have engraving. Now, these concentric lines might not easily read as guilloche, or that might not be your instinct, but the fact is they are reductive and lathe turned. So Denis Flageolet, who's the co-founder and still the creative lead watchmaker at Bethune, wanted something more modern than a Breguet rosette or conventional guilloche, so microlight is what he came up with. One thing that's important to note about these watches is that they do feature a quick set function. You can see we've got skeletonized modified Breguet hands, and then there is a, let's see, there we go. There's a quick set system for the date. I like having a date, but there are other things about this watch that endear it to me, and I'll show you that in a second. Turning it all over, it's true the V2 gives you a full display case back, but the V1 that I hold here has a more interesting movement. So remember, the V2 has the auto V2 movement. This is the original S233. So this is a 6-day twin barrel movement. The V2 has a 60-hour movement. So this is 6 days. You can see a titanium and platinum mass. I believe it's titanium and tungsten on the V2. We've got I believe it's the 2009 or 2010 patent balance, but it's a solid disc of silicon with a white gold rim. And like all of Bethune's patented balance designs, it's intended to reduce the effect of temperature change on timing, maximize the percentage of total mass in the rim, and reduce the effect of aerodynamic drag on timing. So that balance has all of those, and that's actually my favorite of the at least 10 balance designs patented by Bethune. Now, another important thing, if you've seen the V2, you know that it features a full balance bridge, but not triple parachute. Here we do get triple parachute, And if you look carefully, you can actually see we have an unusual manifestation of it, as these pillars on the side are not the conventional parachute you find on a DB28. They're designed to be shorter across to better fit inside this confining caseback. So there's actually a coil spring on each side like automotive suspension. So it's still triple parachute with all of its durability and chronometric advantages, but a very different kind, a completely distinct system compared to what you find on the DBS and the 28 and such. Also important, the hairspring curve is patented. So we have twin self-adjusting barrels patented, we have floating lugs patented, we have that hairspring curve patented, we have that balance patented, we have triple parachute patented, and it all beats away at 4 hertz, so no tricks are played with a slower beat rate to get that long power reserve. It's a big movement at 30 millimeters, so it properly fills this case back. All of that pivots on 38 joules. And this is a watch that represents, in my opinion, the best point of entry if you want to go with Bethune's entry-level model line, the DB27. The V1 Titan Hawk that I hold in my hand is definitely the one to get, at least as far as I am concerned. Some people might want a full display case back in running seconds. For them, there is the V2, but I like the V1. And this combination of the blue dial with the titanium case is the most fetching, in my opinion. I'll also say grade 5 titanium in high polish, I have found it to be the most scratch-defiant base metal that is not some sort of hard metal or tempered or carbon diffused material. I see polished titanium grade 5 cases from decades ago worn routinely coming in for service with no meaningful marks. So if you hate scratches, this is the way to go. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.